yourself this season?
Over here. Can you tell us what you're deducting?
I want to thank my dependents, my kids, and my husband, Tom. You've always believed that I could switch to a better online tax service. And I did. I did my taxes myself.
Upload last year's TurboTax return to switch to H&R Block.
Afternoon down on the bayou on the banks of the Mississippi for some more SEC baseball. Actually, a couple of games coming your way. It's so nice. We're going to play 2 today. Arkansas, ranked 5th in the country, taking on LSU, the top-ranked team in America. But it was yesterday that Arkansas came into town and stole the show. And game 2 coming up from Alex Box Stadium in just a matter of moments as the stars are out. Yesterday, the 2 stars were on the bump. Hunter Holland, 7 Ks and 5 1/3 innings. Just 3 hits, no runs. On the other side, Paul Skeens, perhaps the best pitcher in America right now. 12 strikeouts in 7 innings. Neither one of those guys were involved in the decision, however. Dave Neal alongside my partner, Big Ben McDonald. Glad you could join us. And, boy, it was something yesterday. Arkansas, obviously a really good baseball team, but to come in here and do what they did, especially late, was an impressive display.
Yeah, one of the hottest teams in the country right now. 15 wins now, 4-0 in SEC play. And even with the injuries they've had, Dave, the Razorbacks are for real.
We talked about pitching early on, but later in the game, really, the bats came alive.
Yeah, I mean, 1-1 game going to the 10th inning. And I tell you what, Dave Van Horn goes to his bench and he grabs a true freshman off the bench in a 1-1 ball game. I tell you what, one swing, his 13th at bat of the year, Reese Robinette goes yard, a 3-run home run. And then later on in the inning as well, Kendall Diggs hits his 7th home run. That one was good for 4 runs right there, and the Hogs blew it wide open in the top of the 10th.
Hagen Smith obviously pitched very well on the back end for Arkansas, but LSU had some chances yesterday. Got a little careless.
Yeah, they did. I mean, Trey Morgan kind of gets hung up in between third on a ball that scooted away, didn't make a good break. That cost him. You get a back pick, too. And then, of course, a wild pitch set up the first run. So, yeah, it wasn't a typical LSU performance, and they're going to be better today. I think the offense will be much better today.
Well, they do have this guy, Dylan Cruz. I mean, in the lineup every day. I don't know there's anybody playing better offensively than him.
I don't think there is. I mean, right now he's showing you he's the best player in the country. 3 for 5 yesterday, including his 7th long ball of the year. Showed you a little bit of everything. I mean, look, he beat out a couple of infield hits early, showed you his speed, and, of course, the bomb there, his 7th long ball of the year. So Dylan Cruz showing you why he's could be the #1 pick in the country this year.
Well, we're getting a pretty good sample size now. We're 22 games into this, so you're hitting 521 now. That's legit, leading the country, and obviously scored 40 runs, so when he gets on, he's coming home. This Arkansas offense, they did their job in the back end of the game yesterday. 7 hits total, but obviously they made the most of them. Josenberger at the top of this lineup, though, has been a really good find for Dave Van Horn here in 2023.
Yeah, I tell you what, has the batting average up over 350 now, leads the club in stolen bases as well. And look, he's a big bat. He can blow it out of the ballpark as well, and when he gets on, he is always a threat to run as well.
Well, the guy on the mound kind of took him from the bullpen, put him here on day 2 or game 2 of this series. Ty Floyd, the junior out of Rockmart, Georgia, 6'2", 200 pounds, and there's a lot to like. He's a guy that can do a lot of things for you, but they hope he can maybe settle into this role.
Yeah, I tell you what, always had an explosive fastball, and you mentioned he began the year as the LSU closer, but recently was put into that starting weekend rotation for LSU. 24 punch-outs, 7 walks. Got a little bit of everything. He's worked really hard with new pitching coach Wes Johnson. The fastball's always been explosive, but now he's got some all-speed stuff to go with it.
First pitch to Josenberger. That one misses, 1-0. Josenberger, couple of hits yesterday. Been in that leadoff spot. The transfer from Kansas, career .304 hitter. Pops that one up left side. Third baseman Tommy White was in that same spot yesterday and slipped down a couple of steps. Didn't get hurt, obviously, and avoids that issue today as that one gets into the seats.
Yeah, it wasn't the best day of the year for Tommy White, who's arguably, before yesterday, been about the best hitter in the country over the last month.
So 1-1 on Josenberger. He scored a couple of runs yesterday as well.
That's what you're going to see from Ty Floyd. Fastball is going to average right around 94, 95. He'll tick up a little bit higher from time to time. He has some analytics, too. He can really carry it through the zone.
To the right side. That one is off Beloso's glove. And Josenberger will reach first. See if they score that, a hit or an error. Cade Beloso over there at first base today.
Yeah, Beloso, not many reps so far this year. He's been really good. Only 16 at bats. Hadn't played a whole lot, but he's hitting well. And defensively, normally pretty solid. But this ball is melted off the bat by Josenberger and squirts by Beloso.
Josenberger will stand over there at first. Really the best base running threat for Arkansas. 6 out of 9 in the stolen base department. That'll take us to Peyton Stovall, the second baseman. The sophomore looks at one up and away. They're going to give Beloso an error on that. What do you think, Ben?
Tough chance. I mean, backhand side, and the ball hit well over 100 miles off the bat, 100 miles an hour off the bat, I'm sure. But that's one thing LSU has improved on this year. They went from a team last year that was dead last in the SEC in fielding percentage. They're number 1 in fielding percentage in the SEC right now.
Stovall 2 for 4 yesterday as well at the plate for this Arkansas team.
Here's what we're talking about, LSU's fielding percentage. Look at 2022, 962.
Ouch.
Fielding 990, one of the top teams in the country. And that was a big thing I was looking at LSU this year. You figured they would pitch it pretty good. You figured the offense would be strong, but could they be better defensively? So far this year, they have been. A really good pickoff move by Ty Floyd, who's a good athlete.
Oh, they almost got Josenberger over there at first base. 1-1 to Stovall.
I think we have a violation, what it looked like on the hitter.
So there will be a strike issued to Stovall. 1-2 the count. He pops this one up left side. Trey Morgan from first base to left field today. And that'll be the first out. Trey Morgan out there in left field. Certainly could be a spot for him down the road in professional ball.
Yeah, I mean, he probably better serves you in the college game to play first base because he's a difference maker over there. You know, he can really pick the ball out of the dirt defensively. But in pro ball, the first basemen and, of course, the infielders are a lot better. They're more accurate with their throws, and you don't need a great one over there. And Trey Morgan can run a little bit, so he could project out as a corner outfielder. You never know.
Jared Wagner, the 3-hole hitter, will step in.
Yeah, Wagner's got some real pop. 9 homers, 35 RBIs, leads the club in both of those categories.
Transfer from Creighton, played 4 years for the Jays. And, I mean, he is a threat to hit one 450 feet every time he steps into that batter's box. Matter of fact, he hit one 470 feet last weekend against Auburn. Quick throw back.
Yeah, and we're already seeing today what we saw yesterday and what we've seen in college baseball a lot this year is what feels like a shrinking strike zone. You know, balls that used to be called strikes are now going to be called balls. Used to be just if you got one off just an edge off, ball off the outside, inside corner, it was going to be a strike. It's not that way anymore, it doesn't feel like.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the usage of the TrackMan. The umpires obviously graded out. TrackMan has their strike zone up, and these umpires getting graded on that square. And they'll, you know, if you can get around 90%, you've had a good day behind the plate. I think yesterday's TrackMan results were up around 90% for our home plate.
Well, the umpires don't want to, because they're getting graded, they don't want to look bad, right? So what ends up happening is you end up shrinking your strike zone just a little bit. The college strike zone has always been bigger than the professional strike zone, just simply because college pitchers aren't as good as pro pitchers.
Now we'll run full 3-2.
And I think that's one of the big reasons why home runs are up, batting average is up, runs per game is up in the college game.
Go back to first. Boy, Josenberger getting a workout over there here in the top half of the first inning. There goes Josenberger. This one's lifted in the air. Deep right center field. It's hanging in the air, hanging in the air. It's out of here. My goodness, that ball was in the air for it seemed like a minute. Wagner with his 10th home run of the year and give him 36 and his 37th RBI as well.
Well, that's the pop we're talking about right there from Jared Wagner. I mean, that would look like off the bat more of a routine fly ball out toward right center field, but you're right, it had some hang time and it continued to carry and carry and carry. Fastball kind of middle, just down. Wagner's a pop-up. He's not quite sure if he got it or not, but he certainly did.
It almost looked like he cut the baseball a little bit as opposed to the full barrel of the bat. But another home run for the 3-hole hitter, Jared Wagner. He now leads the team, or has been leading the team in home runs and runs batted in, and just added to that total. 12 multi-RBI games this year for Wagner. Slavens will step in there now.
Here's a good swing. You're right. I think he kind of cut across this ball.
Yeah.
Instead of driving it and getting through it, he cut across it, but still strong enough to power it out to right center field.
Wind blowing out again today. Certainly had an impact yesterday on a few home runs out to left center. It's straight away today. Slavens, the senior, third year in this program, started at Wichita State, then went to Johnson County Community College before finding his home in Fayetteville. Ooh, up and in. That's going to say that hit him. Slavens didn't waste any time ripping his gear off. Ty Floyd still in shock.
Fastball up and in. I can't tell what this hit. Can you tell?
Boy, if it did get him, it just got him. I mean, barely. Wes Johnson out to the mound to talk to his right-hander, Ty Floyd, who's in a little bit of a trouble. The first man reached on an error by his first baseman, Cade Beloso.
First innings are always the toughest for a starting pitcher because what you had down in that bullpen doesn't always translate to the game mound. Your rhythm is different, and you can't create that adrenaline flow that you get in the bullpen when the first batter of the game steps in the box. It's a whole different adrenaline feeling. You're trying to figure out what you got going that day. You know, how good is my fastball? How good is my command? How's my breaking ball and changeup? And then you're facing the other team's best hitters right out of the chute, so it can get sideways for a lot of starters. And then once you get through the first, you get a little rhythm going, things start to kind of settle in the second and third.
Borfin will step in. Jace, the right fielder. He is just under 400 this year. At 397 with 5 home runs. The junior out of Oklahoma City. A transfer from Oklahoma a couple of years ago. Yeah, lifts this one up and back out of play.
A lot of transfers on this Arkansas team. I mean, Dave Van Horn loses 7 everyday players to that offense that he had last year. He went out and hit the transfer portal really hard. Brought in some junior college guys as well, and Arkansas has not missed a beat offensively. Matter of fact, they're a better offensive club so far this year than even what they were last year when they went to Omaha.
Yeah, coming into the series, both these teams very productive offensively. LSU averaging 11 runs a game. Arkansas around 9 runs a game.
Yeah, Arkansas averaged 7 runs a game last year, the year they went to Omaha. They're averaging 9, as you mentioned, so far this year.
2 strikes to Borfin. LSU second in the conference in batting average. Arkansas sits there at 7th. There are 8 teams hitting over 300 in the SEC at this point.
Yeah, that's a crazy number because we went back and looked. Last year there was 1 team in the SEC that hit above 300. That was Tennessee, who had about the best offense in the country last year, and yet there's 8 teams coming in. And when the weekend began, there were 10 teams hitting 300 or better.
That ball's lifted high in the air, deep to right. Will it stay in play? Foul ball. Whew. Another towering shot off the bat of an Arkansas batter, and Borfin didn't miss it by much.
Well, we said one of the keys for Ty Floyd in this game is he has to establish an off-speed pitch. And if he's going to pitch behind and throw a lot of fastballs against a hitting club like this, could be a short day for him.
And that hit him right off the elbow guard. Did it knock the elbow guard off? I think it did.
Yeah, trying to go down and away, ball up and in and right off the elbow guard.
Wow, this is not exactly on a day you're going to play 2 9-inning doubleheaders. LSU having to run some guys out to the bullpen here in the first inning with only 1 out and 2 on.
Yeah, when you know you have 2 games, you're hoping for some length. Both of these clubs are hoping for some length out of their starter today. Save as many bullets as you can in that bullpen.
Kendall Diggs hit his 7th home run of the year yesterday. He will step in now to face Ty Floyd. Diggs at .338 on the year.
Just feels like it's going to be a pretty offensive day today for both of these clubs. Winds trickling out a little bit. There's a good changeup. Because the scouting report on Ty Floyd is good fastball, but struggled the last couple of years to really have a consistent off-speed pitch. So if you're a hitter, you're sitting dead red. And the more he can establish his off-speed pitches, the better chance he's going to have success today.
2-2 up and away to Diggs. Boy, Diggs has changed things around. He had just 197 last year with 3 home runs. And we told you he's 7 home runs and 28 RBIs. He's already doubled his total from a year ago. And he'll look at a called 3rd strike. See if that doesn't get Floyd reset.
Yeah, that had to feel pretty good. Looked like he hit a spot. Brady Neal, the catcher, rocks in there, and that 4-seam fastball right at the bottom of the knees, man. Big out for LSU, big out for Ty Floyd.
Eric Cole steps in, the junior from Boston. Junior college transfer from San Jacinto Junior College, where he hit 10 home runs, .357 average. Came here as a shortstop, but has found a spot at 3rd base for the time being. Boy, this is pitch number 30 of the inning coming right here for Ty Floyd. 2 on, 2 out. Lifted out of play.
Last weekend, Ty Floyd against Texas A&M, 3 1/3, 4 hits, 3 runs, struck out 3, only threw 68 pitches and was out of the ball game.
Breaking ball stays inside. Threw another one. This one was over the plate. Called strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts for Ty Floyd, but some offense from Arkansas.
Yeah, their 3-0 hitter, Jared Wagner, goes yard now in double digits in home runs. His 10th long ball of the year, his 37th RBI, and the Hogs strike first in this one.
When H&R Block's tax experts do your taxes for you, tax season feels as good as all those other seasons. Like wedding season.
I W-2 you.
Taxes.
Get your maximum refund guaranteed with the expertise of an H&R Block tax pro.
I used to wait to run my dishwasher till it was super full. Now, I dish differently. I run it daily. Weekdays. Weekends. Sometimes after a big snack. You might think that's wasteful, but it's not. Because even half loads use 80% less water than hand washing, saving up to $130 a year on utilities. And with Cascade Platinum Plus, you just scrape, load, done. So next time you're waiting to run it, just run it. Dare to dish differently.
Well, Jay Johnson's offense has been rolling along through the first 21 games, but game number 22 kind of got stuck in the mud a little bit. 3 runs as a team hit just .222. Hopes that was just an aberration, and will throw this lineup. They got Gavin Dugas back in the top spot today. They moved Trey Morgan up from 5th to the 2-hole today, and you still get Cruz and White there in the middle of the lineup. You also get Beloso today getting the start. Brady Neal had that home run yesterday.
Yeah, Brady Neal, the freshman catcher, big day for him yesterday, sitting in that 9-hole. And there is Will McIntyre, redshirt junior, making his 6th start of the year, 7th appearance. See what he's done so far on the year. 26 2/3, 22 punch-outs, 10 walks. Whip is solid. A lot of pitchability with him. He's got 4 pitches, and he'll use them just about in any count. So it's just a steady mix of 2 different breaking balls, a changeup and a fastball. Very competitive guy, weekend rotation guy for Arkansas last year.
And there is the man of the moment, Jared Wagner. He's out in left field. Josenberger and Pearson join him in the outfield. Bolton at short, Stovall at second, Slavin's over at first. Hudson Polk gets the start behind the plate today. Nice job catching by Parker Rowland yesterday.
Yeah, he was a difference maker behind home plate, both blocking balls. Picked off a runner on the backside.
Gavin Dugas will step in. Arkansas 7-1 this season when they score first, or excuse me, 13-0 when scoring first. Dugas got the barrel out in front. Now we'll see what happens today, but you and I were talking before the game. We saw more opposite field foul balls yesterday from LSU than we had seen in a long time.
Yeah, it's almost like they weren't committed to the approach that they wanted to have. And even when they had counts in their favor, when you think you'd get the head out and go search for fastball and look for one, they just was a little bit tardy a lot yesterday. Timing was off a little bit for the Tigers yesterday.
Yeah, Jay Johnson said it was like the first time this year that he felt like his lineup was just a little off balance. And give, all the credit to that pitching.
I could say Hunter Holland might have been a big reason for that. He was really good for Arkansas. Shut out LSU 5 1/3 for him. Didn't allow a run. Punched out 7.
McIntyre will start things off with a strikeout. Out number 1. That'll be his 23rd strikeout in 26 1/3, or 27 innings now.
Yeah, not a big strikeout guy. He's going to mix a lot. That's what you saw in this at bat. There's that slider on the outside part of the plate. Fastball is going to be, 87. He'll show you a 91 occasionally, but it's pretty much mid-80s. Bump a 90 occasionally, but he's going to mix in both of those breaking balls and a good changeup to the left-handers.
Trey Morgan will step in. Trey at 288. Already we're seeing a couple of foul balls go the opposite directions today. They're getting that barrel out.
Don't want to get beat today. Pretty good changeup, too. That's the first changeup by McIntyre, and that's the scout report on him. Not going to use his changeup to the right-handers very often, but he will give a steady diet to the left-handers.
Boy, Trey Morgan giving that flinch. It's almost like he's having a hard time seeing the ball.
Well, shadows are coming. The shadows are not on the field yet, but later on this afternoon we will have some shadows. It'll be even more difficult for the hitters to pick up the ball.
Didn't have trouble seeing that one. Lifts it in the air to left. Wagner with a foot on the track. 2 down. Dylan Cruz coming up.
Yeah, Dylan Cruz, LSU down big in the bottom of the 10th, but he still had something to say about it. How about this? Straightaway center fielder for the 2-time All-American. And continues to put up video game numbers. 3 for 5 day for him yesterday. Batting average now up to, and that's not a typo, 521.
Say he's built himself up a pretty solid resume. First pitch from McIntyre, and there for a strike. 89 miles an hour. Boy, you think about Skeens yesterday. His first 3 pitches went 100, 100, then 102.
Yeah, 102 just for fun. It was impressive. Skeens yesterday punched out 12, so that is, 5 consecutive starts for him? He struck out 11 or more. Leads the country in strikeouts.
Talk to him a little bit later today. Give him a headset. As Cruz swings and misses, and he's behind 1-2. That one stays up in the zone. McIntyre, 6'4", 240 pounds. He's a big old boy now. It's pretty much the norm over there on the LSU staff.
Yeah, from Bryant, Arkansas. Attended at Bryant High School.
Age starts a year ago, went 2-2 with a 2.5 ERA, 48 innings. Misses there. Now it's full 3-2.
Yeah, and he's already got a complete game under his belt, too. Complete game shutout against Louisiana Tech back on March the 11th. Only took him 97 pitches to go 9 innings and punch out 6 against Tech.
They had the shift on, and Dylan Cruz found a little seam on the left side, and he'll be on his 4th hit this weekend.
Yeah, nice pitch by McIntyre. He gets Cruz out in front. The body got out in front, but he is so strong. Watch him just kind of keep the hands back. He finds the barrel. Now it's a foot race in case it's caught, but instead it just squeezes through the shift.
And here comes a guy that needed a good night's sleep and a reset, Tommy White. It was a struggle yesterday for Tommy at the plate, and he needed a little calm down session. Told his coach, sent him a text, said he was okay. Things are better, but we saw him after one of those strikeouts kind of lose it in the dugout there for a little bit.
Yeah, he's a perfectionist like a lot of college players are, you know, and he wants to do well. And sometimes when you want to do well too bad, it can backfire a little bit. But listen, take yesterday away, he's been one of the best hitters in the country the last month.
Well, that's what Jay Johnson were talking about. Like, he hasn't, like yesterday, 0 for 5 or 4 punch-outs. He hadn't had days like that.
Right.
That just doesn't happen to Tommy Tanks.
Baseball is hard. Hitting is hard to do.
Well, that'll make him feel better. Back-to-back base hits from Cruz and Tommy White.
But that's the great thing about baseball and being a position player. Me as a starting pitcher, if I have a bad outing, Dave, I got to sit on it for a week, right, or 5 days. As a position player, you're right back in there the next day, and Tommy White's going to make everybody forget about that 0 for 5 day.
Cade Beloso now with a couple on. 2 outs in the inning. Boy, that one hops back there to Polk.
Yeah, how about that pickup by Polk? That's one of the ones you can't even really block because it spikes so far out in front of home plate. He actually just gloves this ball somehow. Cade Beloso, not many at-bats this year. Only 16 at-bats, but the numbers have been good. 8 for 16, a couple of homers.
Trying to keep it down to Beloso. Jay Johnson was talking about how Cade, he's trying to get him some at-bats. Seems like every time he throws him out there, he's doing something positive. But with this lineup and this roster, it's hard to get everybody the at-bats he thinks that they deserve. So he's in the lineup today against the right-hander.
Well, Beloso's got a pretty good track record. He started as a true freshman here at LSU. Was a Louisiana High School Player of the Year, coming out of high school 4 or 5 years ago. Really good, double-digit home runs his freshman year. Then kind of fell off, and of course last year had that really freakish injury where he blew out a knee in a pregame huddle and missed the entire year last year. So good to see him get healthy and get back on the baseball field.
Little chopper to short. Bolton charges, fires, and they'll make the play. So the Tigers will leave 2 on here in the first. It's a 2-0 Arkansas lead.
When H&R Block's tax experts do your taxes for you, tax season feels as good as all those other seasons. Like fishing season.
You caught a big one, buddy.
Get your maximum refund guaranteed with the expertise of an H&R Block tax pro.
Are you tired of washing dishes? Well, flip the way you clean them with Dawn Platinum Easy Squeeze. It's an upside-down bottle with no cap. You just grab and squeeze. Dawn Platinum's more powerful formula breaks down and removes grease 4 times faster. Huh, nice. No flip, no mess. Platinum is also a go-to grease cleaner for your sink, your countertops, and to pre-treat stains on laundry. Fast, easy. Dawn Platinum Easy Squeeze. Flip the way you clean dishes.
Well, Arkansas is certainly one of the power schools in all of college baseball over the years. 11 trips to the College World Series, including 3 of the last 4. Dave Van Horn has led them there 7 times. You see the 45 wins. This seems to be commonplace for this program. Won the tournament title in 2021 and 6 West Division championships in the process as well. And it's just going to get harder.
It's amazing. I mean, look, he's a Hall of Fame coach, obviously, you know, and just went over 800 wins at Arkansas, over 1,400 in his career. And the number that jumps out at me that's just crazy is in 20 full seasons, of course, can't count 2020, but in 20 full seasons, he's been to Omaha 7 times out of 20 years. I didn't graduate, Dave, but that's a pretty good percentage.
Yeah.
That's one better than one every 3 years.
Little slow chopper, Tommy White fields and can't come up with it. Was going to be a tough play anyway.
Well, that should be the second error on LSU, and they have been really good. Matter of fact, LSU had 1 error in SEC play coming into the game today. That should be the second one already today. Tough play for Tommy, but
by the way, I need to correct myself. I don't want to pile on. Tommy only struck out 3 times yesterday. I think I said 4, but it was an accident. I need to go back and correct that.
It was an 0 for day anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. I need to pile on. All that's put to bed after his single back in the first. Polk 0 for 2. Stolen base department for John Bolton, the senior shortstop, makes his home in Memphis, Tennessee, but transferred into this program from Austin Peay. They're actually going to give that last play a hit.
Well, give is the right word in that phrase.
Now you got to get out your white out and fix your scoreboard. Hey, let me tell you one of the greatest inventions right now are these new erasable pens that I'm able to use. That's solid. Like you're over there, you got the old school whiteout going.
It's not the old like liquid paper where you got to get it out of a bottle, and this is more of that, I don't know what you call it, like a tape strip or something.
Yeah.
It works pretty good.
I'm just telling you, they make these pens now in different colors with erase. You can erase.
You know, I got to have different colors.
I know you did.
I'm still a big fan of
Roy.
No, I'm a big fan of Roy G. Biv.
Out to center field. Cruz will make the catch. First out of the inning, Bolton is retired, and the lineup will flip back to Tavian Josenberger.
Well, if you're Ty Floyd, you would love a quick inning here after throwing a bunch of pitches in the first inning. He's at 40 right now.
Hit a couple of batters in that first inning, did Ty Floyd. One and one. Arkansas. They've won 3 straight series against LSU. They're trying to do something they have never done before, and that is win back-to-back series here in Baton Rouge. 15 straight. Yeah. It's the best in-season winning streak since the '96 team won 18 straight.
Oh, we said it yesterday. They just win. 18 wins in conference last year, finished second in the West behind Texas A&M. It's early, but leading the Western Division right now.
Oh, we haven't even really got into yesterday's games, but my goodness, what happened in Starkville was just eye-opening.
26 runs put up by Vanderbilt
in 7 innings. Did he go? No swing. Brandon Cooper down there in the third base line, eyeballing that one.
Nope, I don't think he did.
Three and two on Josenberger. Runner goes. Lifts that one up in the air. Beloso has no idea where it went. It's going to be in the seats, but he completely lost the baseball over there. There is Jared Wagner with that home run in the first. That one is off the fist down the line and left. Trey Morgan running, makes a diving catch. That was a fair ball. And that will get Hudson Polk back over to first. What an effort by Trey Morgan.
The Captain Morgan, comes flying in from left field. Not many reps out there in left field. The route wasn't great. He kind of bellied out from the beginning, but has the speed to make up the difference.
So the 2-hole hitter, Peyton Stovall. He flew out to Trey Morgan his first time up. Looks at an off-speed pitch to start this at bat.
Yeah, first curveball of the day for Floyd. So we've seen the slider and a changeup. There's your first curveball. And if you're Ty Floyd, this is who you want to get, Peyton Stovall, right now. You don't want Wagner coming to the plate, who's already homered today. Rather face him with nobody on to lead off the inning.
Little slow chopper Beloso. He'll take it himself, and that will get the Tigers off the field. They'll grab bats here in the bottom of the second. They trail 2-0.
There have been 80 years of drafts.
I'm told the pick is in.
Thousands of names called.
Jerry Rice.
Eli Manning. Sauce Gardner.
But there's nothing like hearing yours.
A spectacular moment for this young man.
There have been Joes, Johns, Jalen's, and more Johns. Patricks and Peytons, Deons and DKs. There have been JJs, TJs, AB and CJs. There have been 80 years of drafts.
I'm told the pick is in.
Thousands of names called.
Jerry Rice.
Eli Manning. Sauce Gardner.
But there's nothing like hearing yours.
A spectacular moment for this young man.
Boy, another great crowd on hand. Over 10,000 probably show up by the end of the day, and then they're going to reset after this one for the 6:30 local time game. Doubleheader today. Weather tomorrow does not look promising, so yesterday afternoon, 2 coaches decided to play 2 today. A lot of offense in college baseball this year. Runs are up, home runs are up, batting average is up, and my question to you is, Ben, you've been around this game a long time. Just, I know that you don't have any specifics, but you think the ball's been changed a little bit somewhere along the line?
You'll never convince me the balls are not different. There's no doubt in my mind. We saw it. It really began in the postseason last year. We set a record for home runs in the postseason, but I think it started a little bit before that. And look, we're on pace to have the second most home runs hit in the history of the college game. That's where we're back into the gorilla ball days.
Yeah, the late 90s.
And look, there's a lot of factors like we talked about. We still have older players. We have a shrinking strike zone, no doubt in my mind. Hitters are a little bit better, and the balls are injected with a little bit of helium, it feels like at times.
Here's a guy that's filled with helium himself, Jared Jones, the freshman. Jones comes in at 6'4", 230 pounds out of Marietta, Georgia. He was one of those talented catchers that showed up on campus. Barrels that one into the seats down the line and left. And he can't get on the field. Brady Neal's done such a good job, but this young man has got a great future at the plate.
Yeah, we were talking to Jay Johnson. He said, listen, when he got here as a true freshman, he hit really well in fall ball. He said, I didn't know what I had with him. We knew he had a lot of talent. Then he brought it into spring, and before the season began, it hit the ball really well, and he plugged him in. And there for a while, he was hitting right in the middle part of the lineup. And it is a big body. Like you said, it fills up. He fills up that batter's box. We talk about light tower power. He's got it. He's going to swing and miss. And he's going to swing and miss sometimes. He's going to have his strikeouts, but he's going to hit his share of homers too.
At 35 home runs in his high school career at Walton High School in Marietta, Georgia. That one's up just a touch. He had a great series last weekend against Texas A&M. 6 for 13, 8 runs batted in. Had a 4 for 5 game 2 with 7 of those 8 RBIs. Draws the walk. Tuesday night at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 Central, right here on the SEC Network. Chance to see the aforementioned 21st ranked Texas A&M Aggies host their old rival and soon to be new rival again, Texas, in a non-conference matchup from Bluebell Park over in College Station. You can also watch that one on the ESPN app. Won't be long before we see the Longhorns and the Sooners. That ball is hit to Slavens over at first, and they will turn the 1-6-3 double, the 3-6-3 double play. Good defensive work by Arkansas. Slavens gets it started.
Boy, that was nice. This is the one you work on all the time here. Brady Slavens, just a one-hopper, squares the shoulder, throws a dart to the shortstop, Bolton, who quickly gives it back. And that is bang, bang over at first base. Ooh, I don't know.
I think they might be wanting to take another look at this one.
That last view we got looked like to me he might have been safe.
Yeah, I think he's safe. Well, waiting on the call being ruled.
The call in the field is overturned to safe.
It is overturned, and Pearson will stand at first base, so just one out and just a 3-6 fielder's choice in the books.
Regardless, that was a nice turn, too. That's not an easy for a right-handed thrower in first baseman to get squared away and deliver the ball. Boy, and Bolton, the shortstop, got the ball in and out of his glove in an instant.
So here's the shortstop, Jordan Thompson, at 268. Fouls that one straight back. Oh, 0-2. Thompson yesterday 0 for 3. Couple of strikeouts. You talked about it in the open today about the number of strikeouts for LSU. 15. Matter of fact, both teams had 15 strikeouts. 30 of our 60 outs, Ben, were strikeouts. No strikeout here. This one will drop in right center. Bobbled out there in right center by Josenberg. They're going to wave the runner. Here's the throw. It's high. Pearson is safe at the plate.
Josenberg slips down. He does a nice job in center field for Arkansas to get to this ball. But as he circles it right here and gets ready to throw, slips down in a really good read by Josh Jordan, the third base coach for the Tigers. Cranks a home Pearson all the way from first base. Head first he's in. I guess that's head first. I'm not sure what you call that. Stop, drop, and roll.
That's more like it. They're going to give him a double and an RBI. That is the 5th double of the year, the 16th run batted in for Jordan Thompson. And here's Brady Neal, who tied the game up late yesterday with that opposite field home run into the seats. Goes that way again. Wagner to the warning track. He'll make the catch. The tag by Thompson, and he'll get to third with 2 outs. I'm going to tell you what, the way this wind is blowing, every ball that gets lifted in the air today is going to be...
You're going to hold your breath.
Yeah.
If you're on the bump, you're going to hold your breath. Because I didn't think that ball was struck that well either, and all the way up to the wall was Wagner pushed to retrieve that one.
Now batting for LSU, second baseman.
So Gavin Dugas comes back to the plate. The leadoff man struck out his first time up against Will McIntyre.
That's nice right there. It's not an above average fastball. You see it, it's upper 80s by McIntyre, but the more he can use the inside part with that fastball to speed those bats up, the more he can get to his off-speed stuff, which is really the key for him.
Stays right there on the inside half of the plate. 0-2.
Because the base hit he gave up to Jordan Thompson, remember, was an 0-2 count. He got ahead with a changeup and then a breaking ball and then left something up out over the plate and paid for it. See if he can finish this time, now up 0-2 on Gavin Dugas.
McIntyre was part of the rotation last year that put together a school record in strikeouts. Arkansas pitchers had 674 punch-outs last season.
Yeah, it's a team that pitched to the 3rd best ERA in the Southeastern Conference last year.
Dugas has been around a long time at this program. 5th year here with the Tigers. That one's off the plate, 2-2. Remember last year, it just seemed like he never could get healthy. He had that nagging, I think it was a thumb injury he had.
Last couple of years he's been nicked up, you know, and played a lot of left field his first couple of years at LSU. Then the injury started to set in.
Lifted high in the air, down the line and left. And that one will get into the seats.
So he made an adjustment there. McIntyre tries to come back in with that fastball again. But this time Dugas out in front of it. See if McIntyre speeds that bat up to get to something off speed here.
Now it's full 3-2 after falling behind 0-2.
Kind of what LSU does to you, right? I mean, they do strike out a lot, but they walk a lot too. I mean, they came in with the #1 on base percentage in the SEC, even with all the strikeouts. They're going to work the pitcher, force you to throw a lot of pitches.
Bounce straight back. We'll do it again.
Kind of reminds you of the A&M offense of last year, right? I mean, those guys were masters of making a pitcher work, throwing a few more pitches, spitting on the ones that aren't strikes, taking them, fouling off a couple of balls, and hopefully you get a mistake to hit. Now, I don't think A&M struck out as much as LSU strikes out, but still, it's a very similar approach.
22 pitches this inning for Will McIntyre. He had 20 pitches in the first. That one is belted down the line and left, and it is out of here. Home run, Gavin Dugas. And the Tigers are out in front.
That's what you call a 5th-year senior at bat. That's a professional at bat, fighting off some really tough pitches and looking for a mistake. And finally, Gavin Dugas gets a mistake. It's a 3-2 count, but it's a 3-2 spinner. Just a breaking ball that sits middle. Watch Gavin Dugas. Hands go first, and he finds the barrel right down the left field line. His 6th long ball of the year, his 19th RBI, and all of a sudden the Tigers are on top by 1.
And now Trey Morgan, who flew out his first time up, steps in with 2 outs, base is empty. You know, it's interesting. He got ahead 0-2. Remember those back-to-back fastballs inside part of the plate. I don't know that he threw another one fastball inside.
Remember, he tried to come in one more time, and Dugas jerked it very foul.
Yeah.
He made the adjustment and got to it. So as a pitcher coach, you're seeing that and said, okay, now he's made that adjustment. And I think the breaking ball was the right pitch to throw, but you can't throw it there, right? And he left it right center, right over the middle of the plate. It didn't have much, one of the old cement mixers, we call it, and Gavin Dugas was on time. If he throws a good breaking ball there, he probably gets weak contact or a swing and a miss. So, I mean, a lot of times I don't question the pitch selection. I question the pitch location, you know. And if you can throw it where it's supposed to be thrown, you're going to have success. You make mistakes, and they tend to get barreled up.
You know, again, it's you said it, a fifth-year at-bat, right, is what that was. It's almost like he kind of got in sync with McIntyre. Like he almost...
The more pitches you see, the more you get used to the rhythm and the timing.
LSU 3 out of 4 at the plate with 2 outs today to help them take this 3-2 lead. It's 2-0 on Morgan. Dylan Cruz is on deck. There's a strike. 3-1.
Hadn't seen this one called yet today. Could have been called down, wasn't? But 3-0. That's the old neighborhood strike.
That ball's touched. It ain't coming back, folks.
Well, touched might be an understatement. Compressed. He knocked the stitches off of it, whatever you want to call it. And he knew it the instant it touched his barrel. He knew this one out. And how about a little bat flip just for fun?
It almost left the ballpark. It hit on the top row of the diamond deck.
Well, home plate umpire Christopher Griffin had something to say to Trey Morgan. I'm sure it was something about the bat flip at the end. And Jay Johnson is going to protect his guy. You know, we had to talk about this, and, you know, and we had an instant last year where the bat flip went towards an opposing dugout.
It's got to be about the bat flip that our discussion and our home plate umpire Christopher Griffin.
See, this is where I part with the umpires. Just call the game. Let the kids have fun and do your job. You don't have to be the fun police out there. Now, I'm not a big bat flip fan, but listen, it's towards his dugout. Okay, he ain't tossing it back toward the pitcher. He's not tossing it at the catcher, and he's not tossing it at the opposing dugout. Let the kids have fun and just do your job.
Well, Jay Johnson calls his team together to discuss that. And listen, it had twice yesterday. Each team was warned once yesterday for their
celebration, getting too close to home plate. Which, okay, I can see that one, but to me, there's nothing wrong with that one. Now, if you're flipping it at the pitcher, I got a problem with you. If you're flipping it at the opposing dugout, I got a problem.
Dylan Cruz at the plate. He has a 21-game hitting streak. Didn't get a hit in game number 2, but since then it has been hit after hit after hit. His average is at .527. Oh, he took a big old cut. Missed that one. Who was it chasing? Was it Ray Frimes chased 400 all year?
Oh, yeah. He hit over 400 all year long.
Yeah. Watches that one off the plate. The 2-2 popped him up. Bolton, the shortstop, will make the catch. But it was an explosive inning for LSU.
Yeah, Gavin Dugas, the first one, a hanging breaking ball right down the left field line, and Trey Morgan, a 3-1 heater right down the middle, and all of a sudden the Tigers put up a 4 spot in the second inning. LSU up 4-2 as we head to the third.
Well, the Rebels out to defend their championship here in 2023. And 2021, Mississippi State, boy, they have fallen on some hard times after their national championship. Vanderbilt in 2019. Now, listen, it could have been 5 in a row if Arkansas catches a pop-up in foul territory against Oregon State in Game 2. It would have been all SEC teams on that board.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt. Just like football, the SEC, the best conference in the country when it comes to, 4 of 5 now, 5 of 8, and 8 of the last 13 national championships the SEC has won.
Well, that's why you get guys like Paul Skeens transferring out of colleges to come play in the – they all say, all the transfers, their goal in college baseball was to play in the Southeastern Conference.
That was a lure for Tommy White, too, you know, and he put up those giant numbers in a very good conference at NC State last year, but he wanted to play and see what it was all about in the SEC.
Wagner, another guy that transferred in, and here's old Tommy with the tiger tattoo on that left elbow. Why don't you get one of those? Or maybe you have. I don't need to know. Maybe that's the question.
Dave,
I don't want to go down there.
Don't make me undress, but I don't have one.
Oh, there's another hit batter. The third one today by Ty Floyd.
Yeah, if I'd have come home with a tattoo back in the day, my dad might have had something to say about it. It would have been ugly. Yeah, another one right on the inside part of the plate.
At the plate for the Razorbacks, first baseman Brady Slavens.
And that'll get us to Slavens to step back in. Slavens, his first time up, was hit by a pitch. Oh, 0-1. Slavens only started a dozen games at first base last year. He's kind of moved into that role this year. Had 16 home runs, which was tied for first with Caden Wallace on that Arkansas roster. Boy, he had that game-winning walk-off hit against North Carolina in the Supers to send the Hogs to the College World Series.
Yeah, this dude can hit.
And then when they got to Omaha, all he did was hit a 436-foot home run, which was the longest recorded home run in a College World Series game at Charles Schwab Field.
Yeah, if you're waiting for Arkansas to go away, they're not going to go away. I can tell you that. Too much experience, too much winning going on in Fayetteville. Hogs have won 15 games in a row, 4-0 in SEC play so far.
Off the fist, popped him up. That's going to stay in play. Dugas to the line in foul territory will make the catch. And that'll be out number 1. That'll keep Wagner over there at first base. Boy, Ty Floyd, he's hit 3 guys today. Coming into the game, he hit 3 all year.
Yeah, I mean, he's just not commanding it yet like he's want to. You know, that's the bottom line. And he's trying to work the inside part of the plate. And he's had a little bit of success. That last pitch, a really good fastball around the inside part.
It was a wood bat. Slavin's probably looking for some
firewood,
yeah.
What it would be.
Borfin lays off that one 2-0.
Well, we talked about this a little bit yesterday too. Is that, you know, guys don't pitch inside enough, and there's a lot of reasons why. First of all, in high school, you know, not many guys teach inside for strikes.
Yeah. And
then you get to, you know, preseason, and when you're sitting on the bucket and you're having all these inter squad games with your team, as a pitching coach, Dylan Cruz steps to the plate or Brady Slavin steps to the plate, I don't want to be throwing 98-mile-an-hour heaters inside because I don't want to hit my own player in inter-squad games, right? And so we continue to work to the outside parts of the plate, and a lot of college pitchers just don't learn how to pitch inside. But if you can do it, and you can do it consistently, I'll show you a good pitcher.
(3-1) to Borfin. It misses inside. First and second. Hey, coming up later today at 5 Eastern, 4 Central here on the SEC Network. It'll be game 2 of the 3-game softball series between 13th ranked Alabama, 3rd ranked Tennessee from Sherry Parker Lee Stadium in Knoxville. It's all coming up right after we wrap things up here in Baton Rouge. To see the highest ranked softball team in the conference. Alabama's always in the mix. Kendall Diggs hit a blast about 10 rows up in the diamond deck yesterday. Grand slam in the 10th inning.
Did he ever? And not a big dude either, but there is some serious pop in that bat.
Stands 6 feet tall, 200 pounds.
Really good changeup. And that's going to be the key for both of these guys. Both of these teams are excellent fastball hitting teams, especially when they get counts in their favor.
.67 pitches here with 1 out in the 3rd inning. .94-mile-an-hour heater up in the zone, and Diggs going back to the dugout.
Tough to catch up to that one. Analytics, Ty Floyd can spin that fastball. Velocity's good, but the spin rates are even better. So you look at his analytical data, he spins the baseball about 2,300, 2,350 RPMs. The average big league fastball spins about 2,275, so that means it just has more carry. Gravity doesn't affect it as much. He can carry it through the zone. And when Ty Floyd's on his game, that's what you're going to see is a lot of swings under the baseball because it just deceives the eyes a little bit.
Harold Cole. He will look at ball 2. Cole struck out looking his first time up. Floyd stays inside, and that one just misses. 3-0. Or in the Junior College World Series, Cole hit for the cycle. 5 hits in a game. He had a single, 2 doubles, a triple, and of course that home run to cap things off, and he'll get the walk, and the bases are now loaded.
Ty Floyd, 5 free passes today. 3 hit by pitches, 2 walks.
Wes Johnson out to have a quick conversation. And all these meetings are quick. 30 seconds for these coaches to get out there and have their little meeting and back in. And Wes getting a little jog in today. Or the allure of coming back to... There probably weren't many places that he was going to leave Major League Baseball for, but this obviously was one of them for Wes Johnson.
Well, Jay Johnson went at him hard. When Jay first took the job here 2 years ago, he begged Wes Johnson to leave Minnesota Twins and come be a part of this. And Wes wasn't ready to do it. And then he went back to, circled back to him one more time and was able to convince him. But think about how rare it is. And there are some great pitching coaches in the SEC and around the country, but it is so rare for a pitching coach not only to leave the big league game, but leave a team that's in first place at the time in the big leagues that's going to be a playoff team, and yet you leave in the middle of the season to come back to the college game. So Jay Johnson was pretty convincing.
Polk misses 0-2 now. Big moment here for Ty Floyd with the bases loaded.
Can you make a pitch when it matters the most? Boy, if you're Hudson Polk, you're just trying to shorten up a little bit. You see him choked up on the knob of that bat. He is choked up. He's just going to have a short swing at something and try to punch it somewhere.
95 miles an hour by Floyd. Inning is over. Time to get the sunscreen out. Going to be mid-80s today. Beautiful day here at Alex Box Stadium in Baton Rouge. Dave Neal and Ben McDonald. 4-2 LSU out in front here in the bottom of the third inning in game number 2. Interesting numbers when you start breaking down LSU this year. A team that runs out some pretty offensive right-handed batters, hitting .260 against lefties, but hitting .370 against righties.
Yeah, I don't have an explanation for this because, I mean, if you look, there's Dugas, Cruz, White, Jared Jones, Jordan Thompson. I mean, you got some pretty good right-handed hitters, and yet, but you know, it was the same LSU team last year. They were one of the worst in the league against left-handed pitching.
5 hits today, 4 runs on the board against Will McIntyre. Tommy White to lead things off. It'll be 4, 5, and 6. Tommy singled his first time up. Now 1 for 6 in the series. Fouled at the plate. You know, I think a lot of people in this league were, when Tommy White into the transfer portal, were kind of hoping he'd end up somewhere in the SEC. Comes here to LSU just because he was garnered so much attention last year. Let's see what this is all about. Remember, he had 9 home runs in his first 9 games as a freshman at NC State last year and finished with 27 home runs. This one stays on the ground and gets a easy hop over there for John Bolton, and he's retired. And, of course, I think it sent shockwaves through this LSU fan base and in that dugout when he got hurt in the opening game. Diving back into the bag, hurt his shoulder, and there was a period there and people didn't know how serious that injury was. Of course, shut him down for a little bit. But
yeah, he missed about 10 days, and he came back as a DH because it was his throwing shoulder. And look, it happened last year at NC State when we got a chance to talk to him. He said it was about the same time frame last year, too. Well, McIntyre has flushed what happened so far in the bottom of the second inning. He looks really sharp. First couple of hitters here in the third.
Cade Beloso, 0 for 1.
There's a good breaking ball. So fastball inside, back it up with a nice breaking ball to get ahead 0-2. Got to hit Tommy White 0-2 quickly as well.
Sharp lead hit off the glove of Slavens down the line. This will be extra bases for Cade. He will hold up at second base.
Cade Beloso down 0-2, but quick enough to get to that fastball. Enter third, just jerks those hands in, puts a barrel on it. And right off the glove of Brady Slavens. And once it squeezed by Slavens right there, you can see where the right fielder Borfin was playing. He was swung over toward that right center field gap. No doubt Beloso would end up at second base with his second double of the season.
And now Jared Jones, the freshman. Jones's average is at .343. 7 home runs. Big cut there on the off-speed pitch. Lifts it high in the air, and that one's going to get out of play. Jay Johnson says Jared Jones has a great awareness for the game. Swing and a miss. Wasn't aware that breaking ball was coming. Swung and missed it, but you don't hear that comment a lot about freshmen a lot.
Yeah, high baseball IQ. And typically his swing decision, that's what Jay loves about him. Swing decisions have been pretty good this year, but that's an outstanding breaking ball. How about the depth on that one, huh? Starts off just about belt high. By the time he gets to home plate, it is bouncing on top of home plate. Big pitch for McIntyre, and a nice block by Hunter Polk, too, behind home plate for the Razorbacks.
2 outs. Veloso stands at second base for Josh Pearson. It's that one down the line and right, and that one will get off the bullpen bench. LSU 1 for 4 today with runners in scoring position. Pearson hit .299 last year. Boy, had a great SEC tournament when he had 5 hits against Kentucky. The first LSU player with 5 hits in an SEC tournament game. And they've played a bunch of tournament games over the years.
Yeah.
From a baseball family. Brother Jacob drafted in the 3rd round of the 2017 draft by the Angels. Her dad, a retired firefighter and baseball coach.
Yeah, and Pearson hadn't been playing that much this year. Paxton Kling, the freshman, had some struggles last weekend at Texas A&M, so he's taken out of the lineup. Pearson gets an opportunity to go perform.
High in the air. Borfin will give it a look, and it's about 2 rows deep. Pearson will get another swing here. 2 outs, runner at second in a 4-2 ball game. It was high-octane offense in the second for LSU. A 2-run homer from Gavin Dugas, followed by the solo shot from Trey Morgan. That was after Jared Wagner hit a 2-run shot in the first for Arkansas. Smoked. In the corner it goes. That'll get Veloso home. They're going to try to stretch this one into 3. And he's in there safely. Pearson with an RBI triple.
Little 2-out magic for Josh Pearson at LSU. Just a rocket, and I mean just on top of the foul line, right over Brady Slavin's glove. Shots down in the corner. It looked like another breaking ball, kind of left up in the middle part of the plate, trying to get it more down than that, and Josh Pearson melts this one. LSU now up 5-2 here in the bottom of the 3rd as he makes his way on into third base.
And I'll say it again, just the at-bats are more aggressive. We're getting the barrel out there over the plate a little bit better. We're seeing more balls shot down the lines. But they got a much better feel for what they're seeing today than they did a day ago. Jordan Thompson stepping in. LSU's been really good today with 2 outs. They're 5 for 7. And that one smoked out to center. Josenberger is there to make the catch. Another run on the board. Hey, when we come back, we will visit with the newest star in the LSU lineup, Paul Skeens, yesterday's starter. Back in a moment. Well, it's a pretty good day for this guy yesterday. Paul Skeens gets the start and starts everybody off with a couple of 100-mile-an-hour gems. He would go 7 innings, strike out a dozen Arkansas batters. Did not factor into the decision, but certainly a good look at what he brings to the table.
Yeah.
And Mr. Skeens joins us today after that performance yesterday. Paul, thanks for joining us. Here we are, SEC play, second weekend. I know you were on the road, but is it a little different when you get the ball here at Alex Box Stadium on an SEC Friday night?
Yeah, for sure. That was one of the cooler experiences I think I've had in my baseball career. So super grateful to pitch in front of however many people came out for the game yesterday. I know it was a noon game and still filled up the stands, it felt like. So it was a really cool experience.
Paul, how are you different than you were last year? Because the numbers were really good last year, but the numbers are better this year. And how much has Wes Johnson helped you go to a different level that you're at right now?
A ton. Yeah, I think more than anything, he's helped me realize some things about myself, on the baseball side, but also like the mental side of it. He's helped me develop as a pitcher, but also just thinking the game and working to compete. I think it's been awesome to work with him all year.
How much is we talk about velocity. I know there's more to you than just pitching with velocity, but how much have you ticked up a little bit since you've gotten here at Baton Rouge?
A fair amount. I don't know what my average was last year, but it's a fair amount higher this year than it was last year.
Sustaining it? I mean, are you sustaining the 98, 99 more so than you did the last couple of years at Air Force?
For sure. Yeah, I would top up there a little bit at Air Force, but it's not anywhere near what it is now.
So why? So why the tick up? Is it just age? Is it a year older? Is the mechanics a little bit better? Have you figured out something different to push the velo to where it is now?
For sure. I think all of those things. The recovery when you get to LSU, it's a little bit better than Air Force when you're not having to wake up at 6:30 a.m.
Yeah, good point. We forget about that.
You got a little more time to spend on baseball type stuff, huh?
Yeah. So I think that's been probably the biggest difference. And nutrition with that too, I think is a little bit better.
So what's the second day? Like what does today look like for you after you pitched yesterday?
A lot of stretching. It's tough because we have 18 innings and I'm going to be standing, so I'm going to probably tighten up a good bit during that. But especially with the shorter week this week, I got to be on top of it because the bullpen day is one day closer. So it's an adjustment. I think this week more than normal, but I'm not picking up a ball today.
All right, so I got to ask you. You kind of got on our radar nationally with the John Olerud Award and hitting and pitching and playing and all this stuff, playing every day. It seemed like. How different is it now that you're not hitting, and how much would you like to hit?
Yeah, I want to hit for sure, especially in front of this crowd.
Yeah. Is there a chance?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so looking forward to that when that time comes. But it's a different mindset for sure.
Yeah.
But it's also nice to be able to focus a little bit more on pitching only rather than having to worry about going out and catching the Sunday game.
I got bad news for you. You're not going to hit. I'm just telling you right now. You're going to hop on that bump for me every weekend, but you're not going to hit.
Yeah, that's the priority right now for sure.
Hey, listen, we'll let you get going. Great watching you pitch yesterday. Good luck rest of the season.
Thank you, sir.
Paul Skeens joining us down there, and enjoy this year, folks. It'll be the last time we get to see him on the bump. Stadium, Arkansas and LSU. Tigers up 5-2. Joining us down in that Arkansas dugout is their longtime head coach, Dave Van Horn. And, Coach, thanks for joining us. And before we talk about today, let me just go back to yesterday. And how important was that for your team on the road here to get game one?
Well, it was big for us. You're coming down there, you're going to squeeze 3 games in really about 30 hours. So for us to get that win, use 2 really good lefties, it was huge.
Coach, I know you guys have been snake bit a little bit on the mound, but yet you've been able to find a way to get it done, and your guys stepped up. Yesterday was really, really impressive. I thought Holland was outstanding yesterday.
He was, and kind of ran. He was running out of gas, and his count got up a little bit. I think he could have given us another inning, but we were facing 2-3 hole in the order, and we just decided to make a change. But he's been awesome.
What are you going to do with your starting pitching with Will McIntyre going forward here?
Yeah, so, obviously Will's really struggled with his command a little bit today. Normally that's what does it for him, but he's been ahead in the count 0-2. I think he's given up 3 0-2 hits, maybe 4. We're going to go as long as we can. We're not hitting the baseball, obviously, but we're just going to, when you got another game, coming up, you have to really be smart when your pin's a little bit short right now.
All right, listen, we'll let you get going. Thanks for joining us, Coach.
Good luck, Coach.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
DVH.
He's love that guy. I do. I mean, he is awesome.
And look, his love for the game is still as strong as it ever was. 35th year as a head coach.
Popped him up right side. Who's going to make the play? Stovall will glove it. Brady Neal is retired. And I said this yesterday, and here's the thing about Dave Van Horn, and there are a lot of guys like this, but he just exudes this. You give him a couple pitchers and 8 position players, and he'll go play you anywhere, anytime, and not bemoan anything that's happened to his team.
Yeah.
And to, you hit on it. The pitching has been a little struggle for them with injuries this year. And this may be one of his better jobs in terms of managing some of these injuries, as this one's popped up off the bat of Dugas. Stovall again making the catch.
Yeah, and when I talked to him on Thursday in workouts, he wasn't making excuses. Hey, yeah, we've got some injuries on the pitching side. We hope to get Tigert back. Maybe the next couple or 2 or 3 weekends, maybe he's going to be back. But he's never made excuses, But I can't remember how many years ago Dave Van Horn had a really rough year. Didn't make the NCAA tournament 5 or 6 years ago, whatever it was. And I remember talking to him about that and saying, that's never going to happen to this program again. And it hasn't. They've been on top of the world since then.
Boy, this couldn't have been drawn up any better for Dave Van Horn. He may want to talk to us next inning. The way that worked for Will McIntyre. 3 up, 3 down for the first time today. 5-2 Tigers out front. We're on the banks of the Mississippi River. Gorgeous weekend here in Baton Rouge. Always great to come to Alex Box Stadium. Matter of fact, turn around, come right back here next week. Tennessee in town. Great crowd on hand today. Of course, got game 3 of this series coming up at 6:30 Central Time tonight. Right here in the box. And then a quick turnaround. You heard Paul Skeens talk about it. LSU going to a Thursday, Friday for the next couple of weeks. So it's going to push things up a day for this staff.
That's always a challenge. And then, of course, you'll have a midweek game to navigate, too. And so you've got to be really careful as a coach. And you hope in a perfect world you can get your guys out of the game the week before.
Jordan Thompson with a play. How about the shortstop going deep into the hole? He was back there, 10 feet off the dirt making the play.
Big arm. Do it, JT. Jordan Thompson has made huge improvements. Watch this. Quickly wheels and a rocket across the diamond. A nice finish on the back end. Watch Beloso get his foot on the bag and stretch all he can. Just keeps a toenail on the bag. We talked about LSU's defense and how they are #1 in the SEC, going from dead last. The biggest reason is that guy you just saw make that play. Jordan Thompson had his struggles last year on defense, but he worked his tail off with what Jay Johnson told us to really focus on becoming a really solid defender, and he's better than solid now. And Jay kept telling me when I talked to him early in the year is that you're going to be surprised how good Jordan Thompson is. He is, I feel like, one of the best defensive shortstops in the SEC, and so far he's proven that.
Here's Slavens. Well, there's never been a question about Jordan Thompson's ability to throw the baseball. He's got a cannon out there. I mean, that was a heck of a play. I don't think the shortstops fielded a ground ball, either shortstop yesterday.
A lot of, well, we've already touched half of the outs came by strikeout, right?
And close to the other 30 were pop-ups.
Yeah. Welcome to baseball in 2023. 30 strikeouts in the game. Come on. That was a 10-inning game.
Well, that ball's hit pretty well out to right center. Pearson and Cruz converge, and it'll be Pearson a couple of feet shy of the wall. Again, it just keeps going and going.
Yeah, this ball was kind of hit where nobody, I mean, Dylan Cruz, the center fielder, like to me, he was shaded in left center field, and Pearson straight up right field. It's a long run for both of them, but right up against the wall is Josh Pearson to reel that one in. Yeah, and look, you touched on it earlier. It just feels like if the ball is struck half good and it goes in the air, you're going to hold your breath because it is starting to jump, which is what happens in Baton Rouge and around the country. Get those south winds when it starts to heat up a little bit. Ball carries a little bit better.
Which makes it even crazier to think what South Carolina's done in February and early March with all their home runs.
Oof.
That ball's hit high in the air, but this one should be playable for Pearson shy of the track, and it is. So a good inning there. Ty Floyd has retired 7 straight. 5-2 LSU out in front.
When H&R Block's tax experts do your taxes for you, tax season feels as good as all those other seasons. Like wedding season.
I W-2 you.
Taxes.
Get your maximum refund guaranteed with the expertise of an H&R Block tax pro.
92% of households that kick off the year with Peloton are still active a year later? Yeah, actively using it as a coat rack.
Congrats on 50 rides.
Okay, but it's still just a fad. Just an elitist fitness cult.
Come on, guys. I know this isn't easy, but we got this.
You'll give up eventually.
Seriously? 92%.
92% stick with it. So can you. Start a 30-day home trial today. Terms apply.
Well, the home run has been a big part of this one today. 3 home runs, 2 by LSU, 1 by Arkansas. Tigers lead it 5-2. Ty Floyd and Will McIntyre look like they've settled in a little bit. Both pitchers go 1-2-3 last inning. Last time out on the mound as we move to the bottom of the 5th. 7 hits. But a dicey situation here for McIntyre as he gets to face Cruz, White, and Beloso. 3, 4, and 5 for LSU.
Yeah, this is where it can get dicey as a starting pitcher. When you start to navigate through these SEC lineups for the 3rd time. After they've seen you, they've tracked about 12 or 15 pitches so far, and all of a sudden, you got to figure out a way to get them out for a 3rd time.
That ball smoked on a line into the seats. Cruz does it again. His 2nd hit today and his 8th home run of the year.
The 8th Cruz missile of the year for Dylan Cruz. And we talked about how do you navigate the 3rd time through a tough lineup. And once these guys start to kind of hone in on you a little bit, this is a fastball just kind of middle, maybe inner 3rd, but Dylan Cruz has some quick hands. He gets barrel to it and just rifles it out of left center field for his 8th long ball of the year.
(6-2) LSU, and Tommy White fouls that one into the seats. Tommy with a single and a ground out. Tommy's average at 384. Started this series at 409. Cruz started at 515. I mean, is there anything that better than getting a foul ball at a ball game? I mean, look at those kids. They are so happy right now.
Now, what's the chance it goes on the shelf, or they play in backyard baseball with it tomorrow?
That thing will be all scuffed
up. It's
up.
going to be scuffed up off the concrete. They'll be having it be waterlogged tomorrow with all the rain coming.
Two and two on White. You know, it's. I think every kid's done it, right? I remember going to a golf tournament with my dad one time, and Jack Nicklaus was playing in Atlanta, and got to see Jack and meet him, and he signed a golf ball for me and a felt pin, and we're driving home, and Dad says, how's that golf ball? And he says, show me that thing. And I showed it to him, and I had already wiped the signature off the golf ball.
I thought you were about to tell me you had it out there.
That one is in off the Coca-Cola sign in left center, and another double for Tommy White, his 9th of the year.
That's some swag right there after punching out 3 times yesterday. You get on second and fold them up a little bit. Tommy White, very, very talented. High fastball. And that seems to be the pitch he has owned more than anything right now. A little bit out in front of the breaking ball, but on time on the fastball and just rockets this one out there in left center field for a double.
Beloso, he's 1 for 2.
I thought you were about to tell me you teed that golf ball up the next day and hit it in the pond.
No. I couldn't wait that long. I don't know what I was thinking. I mean, Jack Nicklaus signs me a golf ball, and I got to erase it like within 5 minutes.
I hope you got a whooping when you got home.
Let's just say it was not a pleasant dinner. My dad's like, do you know who that was? And I was like 7. I was like, no, not really. I think he was trying to steal the golf ball from me, to be honest with you. Finally, some activity up in that Arkansas bullpen area. McIntyre in some trouble here. Nobody out. 1 run's already in. Tommy White out there at second base. Beloso with a couple of home runs and limited at-bats this year.
Yeah, don't be surprised if he has the green light right here.
And he'll look at a strike. Fouled back. It's 3-2 now. I was just looking at some of these numbers. Cruz is now up to 526. 526 for Dylan Cruz, best average in the country. We were talking about Rafe Rhymes earlier. Rafe finished up his season at 431, but he was chasing the Dave Magadan SEC batting average record years ago here for LSU. Magadan, I think, was 505, something like that. I'll look that up, get that. But right up until the end of the season, Rafe was hitting 500.
Yeah.
I just know everybody. I remember that time. Everybody talking about it. And it's got to be hard.
And he did it at a time where it was the toughest time, or one of the toughest times in college baseball to hit, because the first year the BB Core bat came in, we had the old balls. Balls weren't carrying. Offense was way down, and yet Rafe Rhymes ends up hitting over 430.
That one is popped up on the right side. Stovall coming in. First out of the inning. Hey, Florida's Pro Day is next Thursday morning right here on the SEC Network. We got to see the Kentucky Pro Day yesterday, didn't we?
I can't wait to rewatch it.
Yeah, Anthony Richardson and Osiris Torrance highlight the Gators looking to showcase their skills for NFL scouts, and obviously those front office personnel folks that'll be in town. Our 2.5-hour coverage begins at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central. A lot of talk about Anthony Richardson and where will he go in that draft. Magadan, by the way, finished at 525.
Wow. How do you hit 525?
Dave Van Horn making a change. And a 6-2 LSU lead. There is Jay Johnson, his team up 6-2. And we were talking about a minute ago, it was 3-0 on Cade Beloso, and you said he might have the green light. Well, he was hoping he had the green light. Look at his reaction here. He turns around to the dugout. Says, Coach, I can't believe you made me take. Gets a little smile on his face like, I'm not going to see a better pitch to hit maybe the rest of the year.
That's good TV right there.
So here's the new man on the mound, Austin Ledbetter, the sophomore. 6'1", 190 out of Bryant, Arkansas. Getting the baseball here with One out, and Tommy White out at second base after his double, and he gets to face Jared Jones.
Yeah, pretty good strikeout to walk ratio. 9 punch outs, only 2 walks.
Starts him off, 91. Over the plate for a strike. Jones today 0 for 1 with a walk, struck out his last time up. No swing. McIntyre, 91 pitches today. Season high in runs and hits.
Yeah, McIntyre just didn't have his typical control. I know he only walked 1, but what I'm getting at is, and Dave Van Horn touched on it, I mean, there was 3 or 4 times he had LSU hitters down 0-2 in the count and tried to bounce a breaking ball or throw a fastball off the plate and just never got it there and paid for it. So sometimes the box score can be deceiving. You look at it, you say 1 walk, he had really good command. He really didn't. He struggled to finish guys. And those are the worst ones to give a base hit on an 0-2, you know, because you work so hard to get ahead. And all of a sudden you end up leaving something out over the middle of the plate.
Time is called.
Violation on the pitcher.
Yep, took too long. So a ball added to the count. 3-2 on Jared Jones. And there's a walk. There is the pitch clock right there. So the pitcher's that is behind the plate. So the pitchers can't look at it.
And the batter has to be in the box and aware or looking at the pitcher basically with 8 seconds remaining. Can't just be in the box kicking dirt around. You got to be in the box in more of a ready position, kind of ready to hit. Now, if you're wondering how the umpires keeping up, they have buzzers on them. And so when the clock ticks down to 0, they get buzzed. And that's how they know the time has expired.
Josh Pearson tripled and scored a run. They're going to go to second, get the out there, and no throw back to first as Pearson scoots down the line. So they'll be at the corners with 2 outs.
Well, Brady Slavens has played a really good first base today for Arkansas. Almost completed that double play early in the ball game. I tell you what, the easy play here is just take it and step on the bag, right? But instead, he goes for the force out at second base. Not an easy play for him. Watch him. There was no thought at all. I'm going to go ahead and collect that out over at second base. A lot of first basemen don't have the confidence to make that throw. They'll just take the easy out at first base.
Boy, Tommy White is the issue right now. He was going into third, and it looks as though he kind of came up gimpy coming.
Yeah, and look, when he ran down to first base 2 at-bats ago, I noticed something a little bit off for him. Hopefully it's just a cramp.
Yeah, the way he's walking with his heels out, trying to stretch that calf, it's more than likely what it is. One of the warmer days of the year, and look, they got to stay around here another 6 hours. We got another game coming up.
You better go get hooked up to an IV. Temps warming up around the country. Heck, we're pushing, well, we're 85, almost 90 degrees today here.
So Jordan Thompson made a heck of a defensive play back up the middle here. Last inning. Will step in with runners at the corners. Boy, big cut by Thompson.
Ledbetter's got a good two-seam fastball. He'll run kind of down and in to the right-handers, and he'll take that sweeping tight breaking ball and work it more left to right to the outside part.
That one gets past the catcher Polk, and Tommy White, cramps and all, will get home. He's probably ready to get off those base paths standing out there in the sun.
Funny how baseball works out. You get a cramp in the wild pitch, and now you got to hustle home from third base.
He's like, geez, now I got to go.
Sometimes when you look at Tommy White, you think beer league softball player. You see that in him? How far do you think he can hit a softball?
Oh, goodness. Bolton comes up firing, long throw, not in time. Boy, he was deep in the grass as well. And good stretch over there by Slavens, but not enough to get Jordan Thompson.
This is such a good play for the JC transfer, John Bolton. Watch him range the backhand side, slide quickly to his feet, and how about the accuracy and strength of that throw across the diamond to Jordan Thompson, a little bit above average runner. He beats this out for an infield single, but certainly John Bolton saves a run for the Razorbacks, keeping that ball in the infield.
Matt Hobbs out to the mound. All quiet over there in the Arkansas bullpen area. Tuesday night at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 Central here on the SEC Network. Forget 21st ranked Texas A&M will host old rival Texas in a non-conference matchup from Bluebell Park and College Station. You can also catch that one on the ESPN app. That's coming your way Tuesday, 7 o'clock Eastern time. The Aggies taking on Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee won, game one of that series last night.
Yep, 10-4 over the Aggies. Tennessee got swept by Missouri in their opening series.
Yeah, with the parity in this league, I didn't see that coming. 5 sweeps in opening weekend of conference play last weekend. 5.
That ball down in the dirt will get Thompson out to second base.
A really nice dirt ball read by Jordan Thompson over at first.
If you'd have told me that Kentucky and South Carolina would be sitting atop the SEC with 4-0 conference records right now.
Yeah.
I'd be a little surprised. But the Cats seem to have found a little something here.
Yeah, how about 16 wins in a row? I'd say they found something. I mean, Arkansas 15 wins in a row, but Kentucky at 16 wins now.
There's a strike on a 3-0 pitch to Brady Neal. Vanderbilt seems to have found some offense here.
Boy, did they turn it on when conference play got going, huh? Because that offense was right dead last in the SEC through the pre-SEC schedule. But when the big lights came on, Tim Corbin had his bunch rolling.
They put it on Ole Miss last weekend and started things off with a big win yesterday against Mississippi State, 26-3 in 7 innings.
Well, and of course, the key to that offense is always Enrique Bradfield Jr. sitting at the top spot.
Yeah.
Projected to be a first rounder, and he had a little bit of struggles early in the year. Wasn't quite the same player he was the first 2 years at Vanderbilt, but he's starting to get it going too, and that offense is rolling right now.
Neal fouls that one back, 3-2. Brady Neal played his travel baseball with 5-star program. One of the premier programs in travel ball circuit. You remember those days, don't you, Ben?
Yes, I do.
Just off the plate, and they'll be loaded now. LSU's top 5 hitters today, 7 for 15, 3 homers, 4 runs batted in, and 5 runs scored.
Is that good?
That'll work.
That will get you some points on the scoreboard.
And here is the man at the top of that lineup, Gavin Dugas, 1 for 3. Strikeout, a home run, and popped up to second base. Foul tipped and caught. There's a big hole on the right side of this infield as Stovall's playing basically behind the bag at second. You see on that shot.
Boy, and Bolton is deep at shortstop too. He is going to trust that big arm of his if he has to go across the diamond. Austin Ledbetter's got a good fastball. It has some late sinking action to it.
Inning is over. Nice job to get the strikeout. Don't forget, it seems like it was a few innings ago, but it was just this inning. Dylan Cruz
led off this inning with this right here. His 8th long ball of the year, his 28th RBI. LSU up 7-2 as we go to the bottom of the top of the 6th.
Well, obviously there are plenty of candidates for the best player in college baseball coming out of this conference this year. Maui Ahuna, the transfer of shortstop from Kansas. Get to see him right here in the Alex Box Stadium next weekend. There are some outstanding. I got to lean right now. First pitch from Diggs will drop in for a base hit by Ty Floyd. Ty Floyd, by the way, up to 98 pitches. But it's, to me, Dylan Cruz right now has got to be the guy in the front of the pack.
I would think so. Yeah, I mean, Wyatt Langford's injury obviously hurt him. Jack Caglione at Florida got off to a tremendous start. I think he's still got 13 homers, could be leading the country.
But we'll give him the John Olerud Award.
Yeah, he's probably going to get that because he's pretty good on Sundays, up to 97 or 98 right. From the left side.
Here's Cole popping it up left side. Thompson and Morgan. It'll be Morgan.
Yeah, but if you look at overall impact, what he's done, I think it's hard to get away from Dylan Cruz right now. Yeah. Now, still a long way to go in the season, but look, when you're hitting up over 500, you're hitting homers, you're playing in the elite center field right now.
He's won just about everything else. Of course, played USA baseball over the summer. Mike Bianco was his head coach. They went to the Netherlands, won the bronze medal. Well, Coach Bianco was talking to him last week in Nashville, and he didn't even really get to enjoy the national championship. He got home, had a parade, and had to go get with the USA national team.
What a year it was for him and for the Ole Miss Rebels, huh? Baseball is a great sport. Tennessee had, and we talked about this all day, had arguably probably the best team you've seen. You've been doing this a long time. Probably the best team I've seen in college baseball, yet they don't make it. Ole Miss snuck in, maybe the 64th team to get in. A lot of people thought they didn't even deserve to be in, and yet they won the national championship.
Tommy White, good pick over there by Beloso, and the inning is over. Tommy White getting it started.
Yeah. Roll it up, boys. Roll it up. Tommy White right over to Gavin Dugas. A nice finish on the back end by Beloso to get LSU off the field.
Having a good time here.
Dave, what we got going on here? I think tailgating might have started a little bit early today.
I got here about 10:30 this morning, and they were already set up out in the parking lot.
I know where me and you are going in between games. Yeah. We got to make the rounds, go hit the tailgates. That's loud.
You got one of those?
I don't.
It's not camo. You wouldn't have that. Trey Morgan, base hit off the right side. His second hit today to start things off here in the bottom of the sixth for LSU. 11 hits now. 11 for the Tigers.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head early, Dave. This LSU approach yesterday, the aggressiveness that you've seen from LSU all year long, averaging 11 runs per game, wasn't there yesterday. But today they've made some adjustments. They've got the head out. They've been on time with some fastballs.
And now Dylan Cruz, 2 for 3. Talked about that average. It's now up to 526. That's tough when you come to the ballpark and you go 2 for 4, 3 for 6, and your average is going to go down.
That's a rough day.
Misses inside, 2-0.
And you wonder, okay, how can a player get, after he's the SEC co-player of the year last year in his sophomore season, how can he get better? Well, he's gotten better. And I think it's mainly his approach at the plate, his swing decisions, his understanding of the strike zone have gone up a couple levels.
There's a strike, 2-1.
And he's one of those hitters, Dave, that as a hitter, once you get to the point where you're not afraid to hit with 2 strikes because you're confident of being able to hit a breaking ball or something, that's when you go to a different level. That's kind of where he is now. He doesn't mind taking a couple of pitches, even if it's pitches he can't hit hard, to get down the count because he knows he can still make solid contact.
Looks at another strike, 2-2. Watching him take BP today, I was standing there with Jay Johnson, and we were just admiring how it's just different. It's just different when he's taking swings.
It just comes off the bat like Wyatt Langford, like Caglione, like it comes off like Wagner for Arkansas. It just comes off the bat different.
Trey Morgan over there at first base. That one came off the bat like a missile. Another one. Morgan trying to stretch this over to third base. Throw is there. Did they get him? No, he's safe. The throw was a little bit up the line. Cole had to reach for it, and that allowed Morgan to get in, and Cruz goes to second on that throw.
Well, this is just what I'm talking about, right? He got down 2 strikes, and he says, you know what? I can sit back and relax. I'm seeing it really good. There's your breaking ball and 2-strike count. He simply just sits back and rocket out to right center field. And how about that slide by Trey Morgan? Watch him dive to the inside part of the bay toward home plate to avoid this tag, and just barely with the swim move gets it in there and somehow keeps his foot on the bag.
And this is an Acme Oyster House official video review.
Like we're going to take a look at this one on replay. I couldn't tell a whole lot with that one. LSU third base coach Josh Jordan, of course, he's reading that throw from the outfielder, and he's telling Trey Morgan which way to slide depending on where the throw is coming in.
Got it. Take another look here as the guys at the video center analyze this one from their perspective, and I think
the call on the field of safe stands.
And the message has been relayed that the call will stand at third. Trey Morgan will be there, and Dylan Cruz will be out at second base. Scored a single for Dylan, but another 3-hit day for Mr. Cruz.
How impressive was that at bat? You know, just sit back. Took a couple of fastballs on the inside corner, didn't like them, couldn't hit them hard, and said, you know what, I'm not afraid to hit with 2 strikes.
And here's Tommy White. A single, a double, and a ground out today.
Arkansas going to pull that infield in. They're going to try to cut off Trey Morgan at home plate. That's a good fastball. That's a good fastball with some life. It's 91, but it just up and in and chews up Tommy White. And I'm still not sure White is 100%. If you're Austin Ledbetter, your infield is in for a reason. They're in looking for a ground ball. Take that 2-seam fastball, try to keep it down in the zone, try to create that ground ball.
Mm-hmm. 91 miles an hour. This might be the last AB.
That's what I'm
Game
thinking.
2 for Tommy White. Saw him last inning over there at third base. He's out in the field on base for a long time last inning and cramped up, it appeared. Fouls that one into the seats. White hitting .392 now. That one's out to right field. See if this is enough. Orfin makes the catch. Trey Morgan hustling home, and he will beat the throw by a couple of steps. Sacrifice fly for Tommy White, who now has 35 runs batted in this year, and it's an 8-2 LSU advantage.
Same type of approach, right? See it as long as you can. Try to get something elevated. Try to hit it deep enough. Tommy White accomplishes that. LSU now up 8-2.
Beloso 1 for 3, doubled in the third inning. That one shot foul into the seats. Heads up, everybody. Well, that section down the third baseline over there, just over the tarp, they've been peppered today a few times. Infield in. Off the end of the bat. Veloso, might see him more in the lineup moving forward. It's just hard. You got so many guys. You know, yesterday, Braden Jobert got the start in left, kept Morgan at first. Well, they moved Morgan out to left field so that Veloso can get on the field today. He's over at first. Lifts that one in the air to right. Borfin, they'll test him again. Here comes Cruz that throws up the line, and he slides safely into the plate. Sacrifice fly. And another good at-bat by an LSU player, Cade Veloso, with his 8th RBI of the year.
Yeah, the Tigers have done everything right so far today. Yesterday, a little bit different story. Power stroke has been there. Situational hitting has been really good. Back-to-back sacrifice flies, nets 2 more runs.
And now they're empty for Jared Jones. A couple of walks today and a strikeout. Jared 0 for 4 yesterday with 3 strikeouts. Still chasing that first hit of the series. Did he go? No. 1-1 the count. Foul tip hung on by our catcher Hudson Polk, and that'll do it. A couple of more runs on the board though for LSU. Their lead now is 7 as we head to the 7th. LSU's bats silenced for the most part yesterday. Not so much here in game number 2 at Alex Box Stadium. Dave Neal, Kyle Peterson. How about you? I just called you Kyle Peterson. I'm sorry, that's an insult. Yeah,
That's next weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness. Hey, it's 9-2. Ty Floyd's doing a job today. It did not look good for Ty in that first inning. A couple of guys gave up a 2-run homer, but
this has been a growing outing for him. You know, you mentioned the first inning, gives up a 2-run homer, gives up 2 in the first, but now all of a sudden has settled in nicely the last few innings. Matter of fact, he's retired 9 of the last 10 batters he has faced. He's up over 100 pitches now, and so start to wonder. You would think he's pretty close to coming out, just because LSU's got a short week next week, right? They face Tennessee on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, so all your starting pitchers, one less day of rest.
So let me ask you this. I don't know how much of a routine guy you were, but it seems like kids today are all about routines.
Yeah.
So how disruptive is it for a pitcher to lose a day in terms of your prep?
I mean, it's not extremely disruptive. I think you cut back your workouts, maybe your weight workouts, maybe your bullpen. You don't throw quite as many pitches. Certainly if you had a good outing, there's not a whole lot to work on. You feel pretty good about your rhythm. And so I think you just kind of cut back your tosses in between starts. I mean, we talk a lot about recovery now. You heard Skeens talk about his recovery. The recovery is just as important now as the work that you put in as well. So it's a fine line you kind of juggle. Same day with your fifth starter or on every 5 days in the big leagues. You know, some days you get an extra day's rest. But Ty Floyd's still bringing it. I mean, that's 94 miles an hour, so he's still got plenty left in the gas tank. That's going to be the final pitch that Ty Floyd's going to throw, and I tell you what, just high velocity, mid-90 stuff, and just carrying it right through.
I tell you what, Jay Johnson jogs out there, but when your last pitch is 94 to strike out a guy.
Yeah, it's big, and that's a big-time outing for him because it could have got sideways with a 2-run homer in the first inning, but yet he buckled down against a very, very good offense. 108 pitches, 6 1/3, only 1 earned run, punches out 7.
Garrett Edwards, another 6'5" frame on the mound for LSU. I swear if they put together an intramural basketball team, they'd go undefeated. I'm just saying, this pitching staff's remarkable in terms of their size. But Garrett, I'm tell you what, lot to like.
Yeah, he's taking a jump. He's taking a jump this year in his 3rd year on campus at LSU, making his 7th appearance. Look at the numbers. They are gaudy. 1.13 ERA. How about the strikeout to walk ratio? 16-3. And the fastball's going from what typically has been 91 to 94. Now he's starting to bump some 5s and 6s in there too.
Davian Josenberger to lead things off. Davian reached on an error and scored on the Wagner home run. Only 2 runs of the game for Arkansas back in the first inning. Boy, Floyd retiring 10 of the last 11.
Yeah.
And just the way this thing started, you were like, my God, is he going to get out of the first?
Yeah, because Ty Floyd, although he's been on campus 3 years, he's still learning in a lot of ways. I mean, that was only his 14th start of his career, so he's still new in a lot of ways. And that's when you really grow as a starting pitcher. When you have some adversity early, and yet you can come back and stack 5 zeros like Ty Floyd did.
Hey, coming up later today at 5 o'clock Eastern, 4 Central here on the SEC Network, it'll be game 2 of the 3-game softball series between 13th-ranked Alabama and 3rd-ranked Tennessee. Coming your way from Sherry Parker Lee Stadium in Knoxville, Tennessee. It's coming up right after we wrap up things here in Baton Rouge. Going to have to find us tonight at 6:30 on the app for game 3 of this series.
Yeah, Thatcher Hurd will go for LSU, and what we think will be Cody Adcock, who started last Sunday for the Razorbacks.
I know you do some of your best work on the app.
I do.
Yeah, you step it up when we're on the app.
Hey, folks will be watching.
Oh, yeah. With these 2 teams and fan bases, you bet.
I guarantee it outdraws Kentucky Pro Day. Even on the app.
Probably right.
If you're Ty Floyd, you got to be feeling pretty good about where you are.
Garrett Edwards feeling pretty good as well. A couple of strikeouts to end the frame. Head to the bottom of the 7th here in Baton Rouge.
Baseball is back. The greatest game ever. White Sox, Astros, opening night, Thursday on ESPN.
Well, Alex Bregman will be a part of that opening night. The Astros, the 3rd baseman, of course, here a shortstop, and was dynamic. Boy, was he fun to watch.
He was good. Him and Dansby Swanson went 1 and 2 in that draft that year.
The other guy in the top 10 there, I think Andrew Benintendi will be with the White Sox, who the Astros will open up with.
Defending world champions. Going to be without one of the best players in the game, Altuve.
Yeah.
Got hit. He's going to be out for a while.
So did you like the World Baseball Classic?
I did. Yeah. I loved it.
How would you have liked to have been a part of that? I know you played for the USA team, Olympics, but in that environment.
It's really cool because, I got the experience in it and wearing, the USA colors and going to play and stand on the gold medal platform and all that kind of stuff. It's really cool, and I don't know if there's a good time to have it. I worry about injuries, and we saw some significant injuries this year. That's always a part of it. And
Look, you could get injured in a spring training game.
You could, but they didn't. And that's
People
the thing.
have, though.
Yeah, they have. But if I'm an owner, if you're Dave Neal and you're the owner of the Astros, you're paying Altuve $30 million a year, okay?
Right.
35, whatever he's making. Now, Altuve makes a decision to go play, which I'm fine with that. But for me or you as an owner, now you got to foot the bill. You're going to pay Altuve $15, $20 million. He's not even going to see the field for the first half of the year. Now, how do you feel about that as an owner?
Well, I'm not an owner, and I don't.
No, I'm just saying that you look at it from an owner's.
But none of it's how many. There's 32 owners.
Yeah, as a
there
fan,
were 4.5 million people watching that World Baseball.
As a fan, I love
game.
it. But I'm just saying, from an owner's perspective or from a GM's perspective.
But that doesn't bother me. You asked me the question, and I'm telling you that doesn't bother me. I'm not an owner. I'm not a GM. I'm never going to be an owner. I want to watch the best players in the world play. I don't care where the environment is. There's my answer. How you like that?
I like that.
All right.
But I would tell you the best players in the world are playing 162 games a year when the big league season starts.
Well, I would say that some of the pitching I saw, the U.S. needs to probably make an adjustment there.
Yeah, there's a couple guys from Japan that were throwing a hundy with some ease. What was the kid's name? A 21-year-old?
Yeah, and here's the other thing. You're talking about the Japanese pitchers. You know, they were throwing 95, 98, just about everybody they ran out there. But it seemed like every one of those guys also had a splitter.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm surprised that we don't see more guys with that pitch, because you're seeing 97, and then you come back behind that with a splitter at 92 that just disappears.
Well, the Japanese team, and look, going back many years when we played them, that was always their pitch selection. Good fastballs, and they always had splitters. Of course, they all got breaking balls too, but for whatever reason, the splitter is a giant pitch over in Japan. Of course, Shohei Ohtani has one, got a really good one. But it was fun. I mean, to see Ohtani and to see Mike Trout go at it in a big moment, you know, with the game on the line, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. Arguably the two best players in the game.
And Trout didn't have a chance.
No, not when he's throwing 102 with that splitter. Then that slider he threw to Trout to finish him. I mean, anything turns like that should have a blinker on it. I mean, it went right to left like it just disappeared.
I loved it. I loved every minute of it.
It was fun.
And listen, every 3 years, you're not asking those guys to do that every year. Ground ball to the side. Base knock there for Thompson, so a couple of hits. Pearson and Thompson go back-to-back.
What makes it special to WC is because there's only so few games, right? If there was 162 of those a year, you wouldn't be as excited about watching it. But because it's short and everybody's playing for the country, most everybody, other than Randy Arozarena, who somehow got to play for Team Mexico.
Right.
But that's a different story.
Alex Milazzo, who came in to catch for Brady Neal last inning, will get his first at-bat today. And a pitch clock violation.
So that's our third pitch clock violation after not having any, I don't think, yesterday.
That one scoots past Ledbetter off his chest. Everybody's going to be safe. He tried to dive and make an outstanding play, but it probably cost him.
Yeah, love the effort by Ledbetter. And Alex Milazzo pops this bunt up, and Ledbetter comes charging in. Of course, he touched it in fair ground, which makes it, of course, a fair ball. Ball popped up. Here comes Ledbetter. Watch this effort. I'm talking about laying out, but right there off the chest. That'll probably go down as a single. Now the base is loaded for LSU.
This is a reminder, we're in that 10-run rule area here with nobody out in a 9-2 game. Gavin Dugas hit a home run in the second inning. There it is. LSU's been involved in a few of these this year. Matter of fact, Jay Johnson was talking about it's kind of affected his pitching a bit. They've missed, I think he said it was 14 innings because of the run rule, and some of those guys on his staff, he was hoping to get out there and get some work in, but that's the downside of it.
Exactly. I mean, you want to be able to evaluate your talent as much as you can and see some guys and get some guys some at-bats, some young guys that may not be players for you this year, but big players for you next year, and kind of get their feet wet. When you're throwing the 10-run rule, you start to miss innings pitched, you miss at-bats.
Dugas with 6 homers, hitting .338 on the year. Boy, that one stayed inside. It's now 3-1. Bases loaded. Boy, he's got to be licking his chops right now.
Yeah, and a veteran guy at the plate knows he's looking for one pitch and one spot, and has been disciplined enough to be able to take it if it's not the one you're looking for. That's a good example. Not a ball you can hit hard, and you'll take it for strike 2.
Swing and a miss. First out of the inning.
Boy, 2 big pitches for Ledbetter right there. That was really good. 3-1 count. 2 good fastballs right in on the hands of Dugas to dispose of him.
Here's Trey Morgan. He's homered and singled today. Scored a couple of runs. Dave Van Horn out to the mound, and appears he will be making another change. Gage Wood ready to go. And so the freshman making his way onto the mound with the bases loaded and 1 out here in the 7th. Trey Morgan had an explosive at-bat in the second inning. It almost left the stadium. It hit the back of the diamond deck underneath the Intimidator, the sign with the 6 national championships.
Yeah, he got some, only a 2nd homer of the year. But to the pool side, he has some pop.
Well, the freshman Gage Wood now working out of the bullpen, the 3rd pitcher today for Arkansas. See the numbers on Gage. Thrown just 5 1/3 innings. Oh, 0-2 on Morgan. Got a little life in it, 94 miles an hour.
I think everybody throws 94 now is what it feels like, and harder.
$15 hits. 15 hits today for LSU. I would say that was a nice bounce back afternoon after.
Crazy how fast it can change. I mean, Arkansas just took it to LSU. Close game until the 10th yesterday, but ends up beating LSU handily. LSU's flipped it today so far.
And this is kind of what we expected from this LSU offense. Come into this game averaging 11 runs a game.
Yeah, #1 in runs per game, #1 on base percentage.
That's going to drop out in front of Wagner. That'll get a run home. It's now 10-2, and the bases are loaded, and here comes Dylan Cruz.
It has been LSU's day so far today. Really good pitch made by Woods, and Trey Morgan just dumps it out there, and with a base hit right here, this game could be over.
Just a ho-hum weekend for Dylan Cruz. He's now at .532. One out in the inning. Bases are loaded. And it appears that Tommy White's day is done. Braden Jobert grabs a bat. He's on the on-deck circle.
How about that? 96, huh? With that breaking ball before that?
Get after it, Gage.
Well, that's what Dave Van Horn said about his bullpen. He said, listen, he said, I know we're down a little bit, but I tell you what, he said, I got some guys down there with some high upside. He said, I got some good arms down there. They just don't have a ton of experience.
Ooh, and that hit him right on the hand.
Well, if you're an LSU fan, you hold your breath right now.
Thompson will score on the hit batter. It's 11-2. And if Jobert could just get this one up in the air, this one will be over.
Yeah, 96.
Oh, gosh.
And Dylan Cruz is one of the few players. You see that there's a pad on top of his front hand, and that is the reason why that pad is there. For that reason exactly. Ball comes up and in and catches the top of that hand, and you hope the pad helped out a little bit.
Well, it looks like it did its job. He doesn't seem to be grimacing in pain over there. Not to say it doesn't hurt, but I'd be over there in the fetal position crying. That hit me. Here's Braden Jobert, his first at-bat today, hitting for Tommy White. Braden started in left field yesterday. Infield coming in with one out. Lifted and shallow. Left field. Wagner will make the catch. Here comes the throw home. It is off the line, and LSU wins this one by virtue of the run rule, as Milazzo will touch home plate. It is the eighth win by the run rule this year for LSU.
Now, I tell you what, LSU bounces back after a rough day yesterday. 11 runs on 16 hits. Ty Floyd, for me, set the tone. Gave up 2 runs early, then threw up 5 consecutive zeros after that. That's LSU offense. The #1 offense in the country showed up big time. We'll see. We got a rubber game coming, 6:30 tonight. That'll be fun.
So we'll step aside, come back to Baton Rouge, put a wrap on this one. Tigers win it by 10 after losing 9-3 yesterday here at the box. LSU turns it around. Quick turnaround from yesterday to today, but they put together a 12-run, 16-hit performance. And, you go down that lineup, there's a lot of guys you could pick out in terms of offensive heroes. A lot of 3-hit days today.
Yeah, I mean, look, the bottom part of the lineup performed well. We talked about the top part. Top part was unbelievable. But even Jordan Thompson down at 8-hole, he goes 3 for 4 with an RBI. LSU hits 3 home runs. Gavin Dugatz hits a 2-run shot. Trey Morgan hits a homer. He goes 3 for 5. A couple of RBIs. Of course, Dylan Cruz continues to do Dylan Cruz things. He's 3 for 4 and 2 RBIs. This was his home run back in the 5th inning. I mean, a ball, he just almost a line drive straight out of left center field. Just continues to hit, continues to spray the ball around the field with some authority. Tommy White got back on track today. A couple base hits for him, But I think the winner, to me, was the starting pitcher, Ty Floyd, who continues to grow for LSU and gave up a couple runs early, but yet found a way to stack 5 zeros after that and really give this LSU offense an opportunity to kind of get going, and eventually it did.
Boy, it did not look good in the first inning for Ty Floyd, but it certainly looked good after that. Just 3 hits allowed today for this Arkansas offense and a couple of runs. Now you got a quick turnaround. Another 9-inning game coming up at 6:30 Eastern time. And your thoughts about that? I mean, how big of an advantage is it to win game 1 of a doubleheader?
I think it's huge. I mean, for LSU, you got to get some momentum back. Arkansas took all the momentum that there was yesterday and took LSU out to the woodshed in that 10th inning in a big way. LSU responds back. So now you got to think LSU, the momentum's on their side right now. Thatcher Hurd will go for LSU, the UCLA transfer. Really good stuff. We're not quite sure about Arkansas. I think it's going to be Cody Adcock, who went 6 shutout in a start last weekend for Arkansas against Auburn last weekend. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And, big series. Somebody's going to win this series, obviously, in Game 3. And this is kind of what we expected. We expected one of these two teams to win 2 out of 3, and this is how it sets up for the final game of this series.
Dave Van Horn and his Arkansas team will get back on the bus, head to the hotel for a little bit, come back for the 6:30 local time start here at Alex Box Stadium. The final score, 12-2, LSU wins Game 2. Hope to see you over on the app tonight at 6:30 Central Time. So for Ben McDonald and the rest of our crew, I'm Dave Neal saying so long. We'll see you in a few hours, everybody.